Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about a bookshop management system. So what is a bookstore management system? It's a system to help new opening bookstores to record their current stocks of books, to add new stocks of books, update the information, delete books from the record. And it will help the manager to have a better control of the in and out of the book stocks in the store. So next up, we will proceed with the coding. So in this coding, 5 types of library are used. The first one is the fstream library, which is a stream class to both read and write from and to files. Next up, we have iostream, which is a header that defines the standard input and output streams objects. Next up, we have cstd.io, which is a library to perform input-output operations. And we have cstd library, which is the header that defines several general purpose functions. And lastly, we have iomanip, which helps us in manipulating the output. The first function used in the coding is the menu function. The main purpose of the menu function is to display the options to be picked by the users. So this is the coding for the menu function, and this is the display for the menu function.
The main purpose of the add function is to display the details of books in the system. Before we start, we have to output the data to record file. We use the variables such as book ID, quantity of book, book name, and book author. For the add function, first of all, we have to clear the screen. Then, we print out the header add book on the screen. After that, we prompt the user to enter the book information, which are book ID, book name, book author, and quantity of book. We also have to print the words book X successfully. Then I open the file to append mode and output the data into file. When these are all done, I close the file for the add function, and finally add function ends. This is the flowchart based on what I have explained just now, and this is the sample output of the function.
In this program, show function is included. The main purpose of the show function is to display the detail of book in the system. Firstly, when the function is run, system will automatically clear the screen and print out the header book list. Next, the program will open file which is booklist.txt. If file does not exist, the program will inform user error, no such file is found. If the file exists, then the program will read the input from the file. While it is not at the end of the file, the program will output means print the data and then read another data from the file. If it is the end of the file, then program will close the file and will achieve the show function purpose. Lastly, the system will pause to wait for the user to unterminate it and show function is ended. So, this is the flowchart of show function based on what I have explained just now, and this is the output for the show function.
Next, what we have is enhance function, and the main purpose is to update the details of books in the system. These are the integer and string variables we use in the function. We also use ifstream and offstream to input and output data from and into different files. First, the function will open the original file, which is the booklist.txt, and also a temporary file named enhancedbooklist.txt. It will inform user if the original file is missing, and if it's not, it will prompt user to input the ID of book to be updated, and if it matches the ID in the original file, it will request the new details from the user, and user input data will then be outputted into the temporary file. And if no ID matches, the original data will be transferred to the temporary file. As a while loop is used, the process will repeat until its end of file. Then the system will check whether any book is updated. If it's not, it will inform user that book not found. Then the two files, original and temporary file, are closed. We remove the original file and replace it by the temporary file by renaming it as the same name as the original file. This is the flowchart based on my explanation. This is the sample output.
Now I am going to present about the delete function. Firstly, program will open two files. One is the temporary output file, deleted book list text, and another one is the original data file, book list text. Then, program will ask for the ID of the book the user wants to delete, and program will read through the data file line by line. If that line has the ID user wants to delete, the program will not write that line to the temporary output file, and the program will tell the user that program has deleted that line and increment that count. If it doesn't match, program will write that line to the temporary output file. At the end, the temporary output file will have all the data except the one where the book ID matches the ID that the user wants to delete. Next, program will check if program deleted any file. If it doesn't, program will tell the user the book ID is not found. After that, program will close both files and remove the original data file and rename the temporary output file name to original data file name. Finally, the program will have a text file which doesn't have the record that user do not want, which means we achieve the delete function purpose. So, this is the flowchart for delete function based on my explanation just now. Lastly, this is the output of the delete function.
Next, what we have is the operation function. The main purpose of the operation function is to call different functions based on the user option in the system. So there are two variables used in the function. The first one is the integer variable option, and the next one is the character variable O. So when the function starts, a while loop is used. If you see right here, we use while 1, which means the statement in the while loop will always run as 1 is a non-zero integer. So it will call the menu function, prompt user to enter option, and in this case, switch is used. And if the user entered option is 1, it will call the add function, and after calling the add function, it will print, do you want to add more books, Y or N? And user will input into a character variable, and if the character input by the user is Y, so it will recall the add function, and this will end until the character input by the user is not equal to Y. And next up, if the option entered by the user is 2, it will call the show function, and if 3, it will call the enhance function, and if 4, it will call the delete function, and if 5, it will terminate the program by using the x6 0 right there. And lastly, if the user entered integer is not equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, it will print invalid option, and it will pause the system waiting for the user to terminate it before it ends. This is the flowchart based on what I've explained just now.
Now, we are going to show you how the codes run. This is menu. If I want to add book, press 1 and then press enter. So I just insert the book ID that I want to edit, which is 999999, and then the book name is Lion, and the book order is Tiger. The book quantity is 1, so it will show us that the lion is added successfully. So I press no if I didn't want to add more book, and then press enter. So if I want to display book, press 2 and then press enter. So now it will show us the current list of the book, including 3 books which are originally added in the system and the new added book.
So if I wish to enhance or update any book, I will press 3. So for example, I would like to update the book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is originally the Harry Potter book. So I give it a new book name, for example, Parrot, and the new book author name, for example, John, continuity of book 1. So let's see if it works. Yep, so if you see right here, the code works as the name and book author is changed for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And next, if we wish to delete books, I will press 4. So for example, we wish to delete the parrot book, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, it will show that the parrot is deleted successfully, and let's check. Yep, if you see right here, the parrot is no longer in the list, so it works. And if everything is done, I will press 5 for exit, and it will show you that it will show you a thank you, and the program ends. So that's all.